The level of any civilization is the level of its womanhood. Because when man loves a woman, he has to be worthy of her. The higher she is in virtue, in nobility of character, truth and justice and goodness, the more a man has to aspire to be worthy of her. History of civilizations could actually be written in terms of the level of womanhood. If a man loves something that is above him, then he becomes a noble. That is why it is important for youth, and for everyone in fact, to have the right kind of ideals and the right kind of heroes, because we tend to imitate them. Whom do we love? A soldier? A patriot? A saint? The higher the love, the more human dignity is lifted up.
Hey, greetings everyone to Kayfabe All Day. Ode to Kerry Von Erich with the Modern Day Warrior nickname there. And, you know, I'm on my way to work, so thought I would kill two birds with one stone and do this, audio clip here talking about Vince McMahon and the allegations. Now, I've read approximately 44 pages of the complaint so far. I'm reading it in pieces. And, I mean, it's just out of this world. But the one thing, and it's repetitive, this repetitive cycle that happens when someone popular in the mainstream gets accused of something dastardly, you will see people automatically come to the defense, the excuse making. Now I'm seeing some very ignorant comments and videos that are being done about Vince and this lawsuit, right? And one thing people have to remember in the corporate world, right? Let's just talk about the civil aspects of this. In the corporate world, regardless whether or not you engage in a consensual relationship with an employee, you as a boss. Now, some companies have written policies against this. Some don't. I worked at a company, Cornerstone Research, that encouraged employees, actually literally encouraged employees to fraternize with each other, male and female, and they talked about how there were employees that met and got married there. Then I was a regional manager of a company called One Legal, where it was in the policy that when a supervisor or manager engaged in a relationship with someone they were managing, one of the people had to be transferred, and if one of them couldn't be transferred, then the manager would be terminated. So this is the one thing that the people, I don't know, in their denseness and their thick-headedness can't understand, that you cannot, as a boss of an employee or even a coworker on equal footing, you cannot pass around pornographic material them to other employers or to anyone else for that matter. Okay? So it doesn't matter if this woman, Janelle Grant, went along with everything Vince said and did, which we'll get to that right now. Just because she goes along with it physically, like she's going along with it, right? She's not reporting it to anybody. As an employer, as any type of worker, you cannot pass pornographic material around to people on that person. That does not work in the corporate world, guys. Okay? So right then and there, Vince shot himself in the foot. And I think there's even laws about passing around pornographic material to people. I think there's even laws against that, like criminal laws. But that's what people don't get. It doesn't matter if she went along with everything. You as at work, if you're having a relationship with somebody, you are not allowed to pass pornographic material then to other people at work. Okay? Then we're going to get into did she go along with all this kind of thing? Now, reading the complaint, there were several times where she said, no, stop. Verbally said this. Now, what these, and I'm just going to say the word straight up, these idiots that are saying, oh, well, yes, you just went along with it and, it was consensual. Like, once you say no as a woman, it doesn't matter if you physically go along with it. That person that you're engaged with in that encounter is obligated to stop. Okay? If a jury, let's say if this ever goes to trial and they buy into the fact that she said no, it doesn't matter physically anything after that. If she went along with it, if she then continued to visit him or continue to engage in these encounters, once a woman says no, that's it, right? And it was explicit in the complaint that he totally ignored it and forced himself on her. Okay? Him. Right? That right there, once she says no and stop it, that's it. It is their responsibility to stop. If they continue, it doesn't matter physically if she's going along with it, not to mention they're far bigger than her. Apparently they did physically, not just verbally ignore her commands to stop, but physically force themselves on her. And this is what these idiots don't realize. It doesn't matter what her motivation was. If she's trying to get money, she could be trying to take down the whole company right now. It does not matter. From a criminal point of view, once she says stop or no, they are obligated legally to not engage in further sexual activity with her. It doesn't matter what her motivation is. Okay? And again, as an employer of a company, a worker of any company, and even as a civilian, if this is just personal relationship, you are not allowed to pass around pornographic material to other people. That's an immediate termination at any job. What world people live in? Like, if that's just because she went along with it, it's a very juvenile way of looking at things. Very juvenile. It's amazing to me that we do this repeatedly. We make the victim the perpetrator. We turn the victim into the heel, and we make the perpetrator the baby face using wrestling terminology. It's just amazing that people don't learn. This is not, it's a slippery slope. I mean, once she's caught in this web, it psychologically isn't something as simple as say, well, I'm not going to do it anymore. Vince McMahon preyed on her. Vince McMahon preyed on her. And listen, this is not a guy with any even semblance of a clean record. But when he was accused of raping Rita Chatterton, the female referee, nobody believed it. Why? Because people are into hero worship. Because McMahon has been a successful businessman, very successful, people don't want to believe it. That the guy's a scumbag. That the guy's trash, a trash of a person. And it does tarnish not just him, but it tarnishes WWE. This is a company that has obviously been a toxic place to work, likely since the mid-'80s. But it was really in the early 90s that all this was starting to come out. The steroid scandal, the Ring Boy scandal, the alleged rape of Rita Chatterton. So I'm just, it's amazing to me that people just keep making these same mistakes and making the victim the bad guy. You don't live in the real world. You cannot pass out pornographic material of an employee of yours to other employees. Anybody that thinks that's okay because she goes along with it is a moron, is an idiot. You don't know the corporate world. And I think there's even criminal things involved with that too. There's criminal things along with that too. It doesn't matter if she goes along. You did it. And again, once she says no or stop it, they are obligated to stop no matter physically if she keeps going along with it. Yeah, they're much bigger and larger than her. And this is not, of course, counting the psychological trauma and damage, the Stockholm syndrome, all that stuff is real. When are we going to wake up to the fact that we cannot make victims the bad guys in these situations? We need to take their concerns seriously. Anyways, that's my take on the situation. On page, I've read 44 pages. I believe it's 67, so got 23 pages to go. Pretty crazy. I mean, it is an easy read. I mean, this is like, usually legal stuff. But this is a very easy read, so I would encourage people to read it. You'd be able to go through it pretty quick. All right, Lee.